Nino Brown Boxing, and I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Man, I've been gone for a while, but I'm finally back. Had a lot of things going on. Still got a lot of things going on, but I decided to find some time this Sunday morning, driving to the streets of Washington, D.C. So, today I want to talk about the whole Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua situation. And a few days back, the info came out that Anthony Joshua is doing his best to block Deontay Wilder from getting in the ring post-fight of Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker. And I just wanted to pretty much vent, let out my frustrations, and just let everyone know my opinion on the matter. Honestly, man, it's one of those things where I like Anthony Joshua. I knew about Anthony Joshua before he was some big superstar. I saw him on Instagram, and I was doing his little workouts and all of that good shit. And then eventually he came on the scene. I was like, oh shit. Now granted, when I first saw him, I thought he was American because I was just seeing posts and videos. I didn't know. I just saw a black dude with a tattoo of the continent of Africa on his shoulder. So I automatically assumed like he was an African American. Well, I mean, I was wrong. Cool. So when Anthony Joshua got on the scene, I noticed like, oh shit, he's not just some amateur boxer, because I never really did research on him. I just saw him on Instagram. So he came on the scene. I saw one of his fights. Then I started looking into him. This is back when Anthony Joshua had less than 10 fights. So I was looking into him. I was like, okay, I might have started paying attention to this guy. Now, fast forward, I watched him when he beat Charles Martinez. He knocked that fool silly. I enjoyed that fight. I was rooting for Joshua. I seen Charles Martin on Instagram, and he was not the type of guy that I would roll with personally in my personal life. So when it came to that fight, it was only natural for me to side with Joshua. He just seemed like fit within more of my personality. And as time went along, like at this point I already knew who Deontay Wilder was. And as time went along, the potential of a fight against Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder became a lot more likely. Then the whole thing with Tyson Fury happened. He lost his belts or whatever. Well, that was obviously that was before he beat Charles Martin. But it became more likely that either Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, they want a crash course collision. So I'm like, okay, we got America versus the UK. We got this big buff dude that's a boxer against this LeBron James type boxer. And I'm like, man, it's going to, that'd be a good scrap. Now, from the stuff that I heard about Anthony Joshua and his background, I thought, he was game, he was mentally tough, and he'll be all for, ready, willing, anytime anytime that they both wanted the fight to go down, especially on a big stage, they would make it happen. Cool. Now, at this point, I started noticing Deontay Wilder get a lot more vocal. Him with his southern accent, he started speaking some truth, started speaking some facts. And I like the way, he conducted himself. I like the way he conducts himself as a man. But then beyond boxing, his political beliefs definitely align with the beliefs, a lot of the beliefs that I have. So, me taking that into consideration, I was like, well, damn, I can relate to this guy more than I can relate to Anthony Joshua. Now, that still didn't change the fact that I like Anthony Joshua. Me and Anthony Joshua have things in common. Even though he's a boxer, he's a weightlifter. I'm a gym rat myself. #goes gym for life. But I've noticed things about the two guys, about myself, that we had in common. So I was definitely trying to decide which one of these guys is going to be my favorite welterweight. But then a lot of time went past, and the truth started to come out. And me personally, I'm a truth seeker, so I just wanted to know the truth. Now, in the sport of boxing, I expect a boxer to conduct itself like a boxer. Like I've said it on this channel plenty of times before, my favorite fighter is Errol Spence Jr. And hopefully, I hope and I pray that Errol Spence doesn't do a complete 180 and start conducting himself like Keith Thurman when he gets in that position. But Earl Spence conducted himself like a fighter, how I want a fighter to conduct himself. And I started to notice Deontay Wilder, he's cut from the same cloth as Earl Spence. I should say Earl Spence, since him being a younger fighter with less fights, he's cut from the same cloth as Deontay Wilder. So when I noticed this, I was like, oh shit, it only makes sense for Wilder to be my guy. So that's what it was. I wrote, the Black American. Me and him had more in common. Even though me and AJ still had stuff in common, I just prefer how Deontay Wilder conducts himself as a fighter. Now, if this was my personal life, and I was like, oh yeah, I want me a business partner, just not based off skills, but just based off how he presents himself to the public and how he's marketable, hell yeah, I'm going with Anthony Joshua. It just makes sense. But I'm a boxing fan right now, and this is what I'm talking about. So it's Deontay Wilder all day. So we get to this whole point where within the last couple days, Anthony Joshua is going above and beyond to block Deontay Wilder from getting in the ring post-fight. And to me, that's just a bitch move, man. It's just, like, I don't even want to get pissed off to the point. I shouldn't get so pissed off at this point because behavior like that has been consistent from Anthony Joshua. He said some crazy shit out of his own mouth about the fight not happening until 2019, maybe 2020. I don't know if I'm ready. I need more time. I need to take this fight when I'm in a position to win, the best position to win. All of that crazy talk. So, man, with me taking all of that into consideration, I couldn't even be extremely upset when he said that. Yeah, it pisses me off, but I'm not even surprised. And you know what? That's what makes it worse. Like, if I was shocked, it would be a big deal, but it would have caught me off guard. The fact that this doesn't catch me off guard, it reminds me that this bitch behavior from Anthony Joshua is consistent. Now, we got this guy that could potentially be a champion, a holder of 3 major titles if he defeats Joseph Parker, and I believe the likelihood in that is extremely high. And now we have Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. They can make history. And it seems like Joshua doesn't want any part of that. And like plenty of people made a great point before, if a fighter really wants to fight, Eddie Hearn would make it happen. It happened with Kell Brook. And Kell Brook had an exit strategy. Unlike Anthony Joshua, he can't go up in weight. He can't go down to cruiserweight. Kell Brook had an exit strategy. He could have vacated his belt and moved up to 154 and continued on his career with only 1 loss. But he didn't. He beat on his chest like a man. He nutted up whatever he needed to do. And he got in the ring with Earl Spence. Despite the fact that he lost, despite the shit that he talked prior to the fight, the fact that he talked the shit after the fight and saying, oh, I'll beat you at 154, he got in the ring. And he did not wait this long. And it was just a fight for IBF. He wasn't ducking and dodging unification. Now, granted, can I say Kell Brook would have took that fight if Earl Spence wasn't as mandatory? I can't speak on that. It's not guaranteed. I know it's kind of apples and oranges, but at the end of the day, it was a fighter promoted by Eddie Hearn that took a fight that he necessarily didn't have to. Now, Anthony Joshua is in a situation where he can't run. He can't hide forever. He can't go to a different division and hide out. He can't pull a Leo Santa Cruz. He can't pull a Abner Mares or Carl Frampton. There's no other division that he can hide out in. So at this point, you might as well go down the street and fight that big bad kid that beats everybody else on the block. At this point, man, you really had no choice. Get the fans what they want to see. Your true UK fans, the American fans, and every boxing fan worldwide. We would love to have an undisputed heavyweight champion. But guess what, AJ? You talking about losing. If you lose, you can always run it back. Like, that's just a great part about history. I mean, we've seen, people like to bring up Muhammad Ali, and I've seen pictures of AJ standing over Klitschko and comparing that to a picture of Muhammad Ali has. When Muhammad Ali would roll up into his opponent's gym. Yeah, maybe the fight was announced, but I don't see AJ ever rolling up on Deontay Wilder like that. under any circumstance. I understand that they want to make money, but at the end of the day, man, conduct yourself like a man, because it's nothing worse when you're a professional fighter for your fans to see you as a bitch. That's just my take on it, guys. This is Nino Brown Boxing. Shout out to LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Peace.